What if I told you that you're probably happier than you think? Today, we're going to dig into the quiet, subtle signs of a truly contented life. The kind of stuff that usually flies right under the radar because, well, we're all busy looking for the big fireworks.
And this quote, man, it just gets right to the heart of it, doesn't it? We have this idea that happiness has to be loud, a constant party. And if we're not feeling totally ecstatic all the time, we start to think, ugh, something must be wrong with me. And yeah, that probably sounds super familiar, right? We spend so much energy chasing these huge emotional highs. And while we're doing that, we can completely miss the steady, grounded happiness that's already part of our everyday lives.
Okay, so let's try to redefine this thing. Real, true satisfaction. It isn't always about those big, flashy moments. It's actually way quieter. It's hiding in our routines, the choices we make, and even in how we talk to ourselves.
This chart really lays it all out. On one side, you've got the happiness myth, all fireworks, big wins, loud feelings. But on the other side, that's the quiet reality. It's about being grounded, feeling a sense of okayness, and having these gentle perspectives. It's a completely different way of looking at it.
So, where do we even start to look for these signs? Well, let's begin inside, with our internal world. The first few signs we're going to cover are all about your mindset, how you think, how you recover from stuff, and the voice you use inside your own head.
All right, kicking things off with sign number 1. And honestly, this one is huge.
This is all about bouncing back when you wobble. Look, life is going to knock everyone over, that's a given. The real sign of contentment isn't that you never fall, it's that you don't stay down. It's about letting yourself feel bad for a bit, maybe for a day, and then you get up and you try again.
And I love this idea that quiet return to action. Just sending that one email or putting on your shoes to go for a walk. It's actually a form of optimism. It shows this deep down belief that your next step is going to help, that things can get better. It's this fundamental trust you have in yourself.
Okay, moving on to sign number 2. You can laugh at yourself. Seriously, when you can find the humor in your own clumsy, awkward moments, it's a huge sign of psychological flexibility. It means you're not so busy protecting your ego. And that brings us to sign number 3. Your inner voice is a coach, not a critic. So when you miss the mark, you're not beating yourself up. Instead, that voice is saying, all right, that didn't work. What did we learn? How can we do better?
So that's the internal stuff. But how does this mindset actually show up in the real world? Well, this next batch of signs is all about your actions, how you engage with the world, and protect your own energy.
Sign number 4 is that you've started to care way more about depth than popularity. You're not trying to collect 1,000 friends. You're cultivating a few really close connections. And then there's sign number 5. You defend your energy, but without all the drama. You just know that saying no isn't selfish. It's actually sustainable.
This leads right into sign number 6. You have your own personal reset routine. See, truly content people don't just wait around for a crisis to hit. They have their go-to tools ready. Maybe it's a walk, a certain playlist, a book, and when stress spikes, they pull out that tool and use it to process the feeling, to metabolize it so it doesn't just sit there and build up.
Okay, and for our final set of signs, we're going to look at the place where happiness hides the most, just in the ordinary, everyday moments. This is really where the quiet reality of contentment truly shines.
And this brings us to sign number 7. And you could argue this one is the foundation for everything else we've talked about. It's that important. It's this: you find comfort in ordinary moments. Think about it. If you can feel a real sense of peace just from your morning coffee or the feeling of clean sheets, that's a massive sign of well-being. It means you feel safe and you don't need some big, flashy event for your day to feel good. And our last 2 signs are also found right here, in the small stuff. So sign number 8 is what you could call micro-gratitude. It's just noticing that, hey, this soup tastes really good, or the light hitting that plant is beautiful. It just tilts your focus to what's working. And finally, sign number 9, you have flow pockets in your day. You know those moments where you get so into what you're doing you completely lose track of time? That's a powerful sign that your life is filled with things that you actually find meaningful.
So, as we start to wrap this up, try to think of these 9 signs less like a checklist you have to ace, and more like a new kind of scorecard, one that measures a good life not by its flashy highlights, but by its quiet stability and substance.
The real takeaway here is so simple, but so important. Quiet happiness doesn't always announce itself, but that doesn't make it any less real. It's more like a steady foundation than a constant party.
Yeah, it shows up in how you live, not just how you feel in one specific moment. Happiness, it turns out, is less of a feeling we chase and more of a byproduct of how we live our lives. It comes from having that resilient mindset, taking sustainable actions, and appreciating the ordinary. It's literally built into the structure of your life.
So I'll leave you with this final thought. Instead of asking yourself, am I happy? What if you started asking, where is my happiness hiding? What if we stopped expecting it to be this big, loud thing screaming for attention, and instead just started looking for its quiet little footprints in our daily life? I bet you'd find you're already standing on much happier ground than you realized.